Hey, we're live, pal. I didn't even use the intro.
Here we go.
I didn't use. I have it. I didn't use it. I don't know why, but we're live. I hope so. Anyway, I don't see anyone pop. I don't see. There we go. I see people populating now. I see questions coming in. Sorry, guys. Casey is not here. He is in Houston, so I'm running the show. I'm doing the boards. I'm doing the questions. I'm doing the producing. It's early. You might have noticed we're starting.
The sun is not up.
The sun actually is rising right now in Phoenix, Arizona. You might be wondering why we're doing this so early. It's because, as I said, Casey is in Houston. He's going to be at the UFC 265 Media Day, which I believe starts 30 minutes after we end today. So we'll end at 8 a.m. Pacific time, and then I believe Media Day is scheduled for 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. We will have that live stream on MMA Fighting's YouTube page and on the site. I don't know if we're streaming on Twitter and Facebook. I will leave that up to Casey. But you guys, well, for all I know, that might start early because, AK, you haven't been to a media day in a bit. Alex, you've not been to the new format. You went to a couple pandemic events, but it was pre-media days, correct?
Yes, pre-media day.
Yeah, sometimes fighters want to get it over with, and they'll be like, can I start right now? And they're an hour early, and no one is set up. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but hey, if they want to get it over with, if we get an hour of Derrick Lewis, I will take it. But anyway, you guys know the drill. You can ask the questions in the comment section on YouTube. You can ask your questions in the comment section on the site, Twitter. No promises I'll get to those right now today because I'm kind of focused on doing 1,000 things at once. So if I don't see it, I apologize. But first things first, Alex, how is life in California? We haven't seen you on the A side in a bit.
It's been a minute. Yeah, no, we've been kind of preoccupied. Had my sister's wedding a month ago. I feel like she got it just under the wire of now rising cases and uncertainties again, so we're happy. Life is calm again.
Life is calm. AK, how's life in Markham?
Thank you. Thank you for correctly designating where I'm from. We're not just the greater Toronto area, but yes, from Markham. Things are good, Jose. There could be better COVID-wise. Again, we're having a little bit of struggles with people wanting, the quarantining and getting and all that, and it's not ideal yet. We're still. I think we're back in theaters. We're back in theaters. And I recently watched the ninth Fast and Furious film, so we're somewhat returning to normalcy.
So the Fast and Furious thing, that's for real. You really like those movies.
Oh, he loves it.
You thought that was a gimmick? hey, chat. If anyone's in the chat up this early, send any Fast and Furious questions. I will answer either on the show or I will contact you directly and answer. I'm working on a book, Alex Savas, so someday I will write the Fast and Furious.
I like the third one.
It's so good. Thank you, because you're a man of culture.
I think the third one is an underrated film.
Jose,
like
you're
film,
a man of culture.
Like film.
You're a man. I see people all the time go like, oh, I like all the Fast and Furious movies except for Tokyo Drift. I just pretend Tokyo. And I'm like, fun. What are you? Excuse me?
Has the best soundtrack.
So good. So good.
In Rhode Island, when it snows, my friends and I used to, because we're stupid, used to drift around corners in the snow and ice. Obviously, we're listening to the Tokyo theme song, but we were 15 and 16 years old. So it is what it is. I'm not sorry. Did we get in a car accident? Maybe. But that's neither here nor there. But you guys know the drill. Ask your questions. We'll answer them. Tokyo Drift related or not. I saw The Green Knight the other day in theaters. That was a fun movie.
That looks so good.
30 minutes too long. They didn't show the actual ending. Ciryl Gane winning The Green Knight. It's 2.5 hours. It's a long movie.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. And if you've read the story, they ended it before the ending. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
How artistic of them.
Got a little too artistic for my take, but anyway, let me find these questions. I am so unprepared. I have no idea where the questions went. This is great.
I am participating, by the way, but I see Fast and Furious questions coming in. Guys, I will answer those in chat, but I will also be paying attention to the MMA questions.
First question, AK, we're going to get them right away. DM.
Okay.
Timmy O showed DM'd Alex. Alex, you said this individual has been asking you a lot of questions, and we haven't got to any of them, right? So we're going to get him right out of the gate. Questions for the A-side. 1. Reports of Bellator viewing numbers were released today, but I've seen some tweets that say YouTube numbers from prelim in Canada weren't included. So from your team's research, what were the final ratings, and how do you guys think it positions them fit the future? Well, I don't know the exact ratings. You'd have to ask I would ask our colleague Damon Martin. He seems to be the ratings guy. But AK, how was the so I can't give you exact numbers or how they fit into it, but how was the reception in Canada for the Bellator fights?
Well, I can tell you the number. So because the Bellator card up here is actually free on YouTube in Canada, we do not have Bellator does not have a television broadcasting deal up here. It used to be on we have Paramount Network up here, so it used to be on Paramount Network, but it's not on there anymore, and we don't have Showtime. There's no Showtime in Canada. So the good thing is though, until there is a TV deal, we can watch for free on YouTube. So the numbers I'm looking at are pretty good. Again, this is just raw YouTube numbers. I don't know exactly how to extrapolate these and translate these into like television viewership. For the prelims, it's kind of weird. For the prelims, 294,000 views. This is just on the Bellator's YouTube channel. And then for the main card, 223,000 views. So I'm not sure why there'd be less views on the main card.
So
that's a little confusing.
Maybe that is confusing. I don't know.
Again, unless a lot of I'm trying to think, like, maybe there is some way to watch in Canada that I'm not aware of, but I don't know why people would choose. As far as I know, there really isn't. Again, we don't have Showtime up here. But either way, pretty good looking numbers compared to the actual Showtime numbers. I'll bring those up in a second. There was quite a bit of controversy because obviously I know for you guys in the US, Showtime Sports is a premium channel, right? You have to subscribe to that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you, of course you guys watched it, so I assume you have it. You know, you would never watch something through nefarious means.
So they have an app. So if you have the Showtime app, you can stream it there. So like my television, I don't have cable, so I can't go to like channel like 304 and watch Showtime, but I can tee up the app and anything that you can pay for it on there, or you obviously with Bellator you watch it for free. So basically, if you spend like $5 a month, you get all of Showtime's content.
Okay. Yeah. But you still have to pay. You're a subscriber. You're a subscriber too. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to bring up the numbers here. I'm just being a bit slow. But of course, the UFC card did a lot better, and you know, you have people now saying, how could a card headlined by sort of this non-event middleweight bout, a good middleweight matchup for sure, but compared to what was being hyped as, you know, the biggest fight in Bellator history, how could it do such a big number? So Strickland and Hall did 797,000 viewers on ESPN. And apparently peaked at 953,000 for the main event. Bellator 85,000 average, and 177,000 for the main event, so under 200K. But that's actually a really good number, I think, relative to most Bellator cards. So people have to kind of view these. You can't view these in a void. It's comparative, but I understand the public perception that it looks bad for Bellator.
I would be curious to see how much live viewers were happening in Bellator, right? Because obviously in this stream, we get like X amount of viewers, but then when it is done and it is on YouTube, to see how many watched after the fact. I don't know how many people are watching Bellator live as it's happening. Alex, you watched it on Showtime, obviously. What did you make of the product as a whole in terms of the production of the Bellator fights?
I don't know. I always think it's great. It's always, I find the pacing a little slow.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes I'll look away, especially when UFC is happening at the same time and we're posting, winter graphics or whatever. And you're like, is this fight over? Like, oh my God, did I miss the fight? You're like, oh, it hasn't even started. Like with our attention spans these days, like you were just talking about 2.5 hour movie, like impossible. I need this stuff to go. Like, let's go. But other than that, it was a great show.
Yeah. The pacing was a little UFC on Fox-ish, but anyway, another question from Timmy Osho, apologies if I mispronounced your name. This is much smaller. On the Morning Combat, Luke and BC state the best way to keep AJ Bellator is by giving him double champ opportunity, potentially boxing fights and good payday. But now, with Dana mentioning his name and Bellator not having the capital to give him 30% of McGregor pay, or in the potential future due to low viewing numbers versus UFC equals less fanfare, do you guys think it's less likely for Bellator to keep him in the coming years? So we're probably going to get a few questions about AJ and Bellator. Actually, I know we're going to get a few questions about AJ and Bellator and AJ in the UFC. AK, if you're Bellator and Scott Coker, put on your Scott Coker hat and for 1 second pretends that you can actually talk about the future, not say, I'll get back to you. What is your 3-step game plan to keep AJ McKee?
Oh my gosh. I mean, well, CBS has to be the first step. Getting him on CBS and non-Showtime sports. Getting him on regular Showtime.
Get him out from behind a paywall.
Get him out from behind a paywall. Well, the thing is, that's step one, is getting out from behind a paywall. I do think one of the next two steps has to be getting him back behind a paywall. I don't mind the pay-per-view idea. I saw a lot of people making fun of it. You know, that was one of the quotes we kind of grabbed for a story after Bellator 263. And I get it. It's and especially now, I'm sure people look at the numbers now and be like, you couldn't get them to spend $5, whatever, on a Showtime sports subscription. How do you get them to spend $40 to $60 on a pay-per-view? But again, they don't need to do UFC numbers with the pay-per-view. They want to break something like 100,000. Can they do that with AJ McKee? I think it's possible. It has to be the right opponent. It has to be the right circumstances, the right weekend. You know, you got to pick the right weekend. The timing is everything. So that might not be step two. Like step one, CBS, mainstream Showtime. Step three, pay-per-view. Step two in there somewhere is, oh boy. I love the idea of someone said send him over to Ryzen for a fight. I'm not sure how much that helps his cachet over here. But if anything, just to keep him busy, and if you're not going to do the Pitbull rematch. But step two is definitely do something creative with it. I love the idea of a boxing match, some sort of dumbass celebrity boxing thing. If Bellator could promote that in one of their cards, it hasn't been done before in that way. Having an MMA promotion actually just promote a freak show boxing fight like that. Just try it. You're gonna have to get outside the box, because I think Timmy raises a good point that otherwise within the next 2 years there's gonna be a lot of McKee to UFC talk. There is now, but it'll become very, very realistic in the next 2 years without a concrete plan.
Yeah, I don't know what his contract situation is either. So if he has X amount of fights left or X amount of, I don't know how Bellator's champion contracts work. You know, in the UFC, when you become champ, they can hold you for as long as it extends your contract over time. Don't know the case for that. But Alex, I think you admittedly didn't watch a lot of Bellator, I would assume, before joining MMA fighting. I know you and I have covered the Bellator fights. You and I covered AJ McKee's fight in Chicago. He fought Pat Curran in Chicago. I just thought of that.
Mm-hmm.
Did he come off as a star after his performance and during his performance?
Part of me wants to say yes, but honestly, no. My baseline for stardom might be a little bit higher than a lot of people with MMA, because I think there's so much of my life that's not in MMA that I see how honestly small the MMA sector really is. People talking Israel Adesanya being a star outside of MMA.
No,
he's truly not.
Yet.
He's really not.
Not yet.
So no, AJ McKee, the only person who has transcended MMA. Well, I guess Ronda Rousey too. I do my mom test. Does my mom know this name? If I say Ronda Rousey, she knows who that is. Conor McGregor, she knows. AJ McKee is nowhere near that level. But if we're talking going to UFC, what does Bellator need to do to keep him? I mean, money talks. I think that's kind of just the big thing. I mean, Scott Coker's very adamant about building up his talent from the beginning. That's why they're just picking these people. They're not taking top talent from all these places. It's their goal to train them and raise them, and now they build their own stardom. But to keep someone like that, you gotta make it worth their time. So
yeah, I think he did an interview with our own Damon Marin, plug Damon again, where right before his Pitbull fight, he said Max Holloway is still his dream opponent. At some point, he wants to fight Brian Ortega, because when AJ McKee was 19, he rolled with Brian, and Brian tapped him with a triangle, and he goes, I just want that back for myself. But he says, if the check's not right, don't talk to me. So you are correct, Alex. Money talks, and AJ McKee's going to need a lot of money to stay. Maybe he'll win another $1 million tournament. Anyway, Four Corner Sports and why, how likely or unlikely are we going to see UFC 268 at MSG for November after the news that came out for New York City? Also, if UFC 266 doesn't happen in NYC, what other venues would fit perfectly? It has Usman versus Covington 2, Miami, Vegas, or other? Hashtag the A side. AK. How likely or unlikely does the UFC touch down in New York City in November?
I mean, I think it's possible. I know. So my understanding is that they're just simply the mandate is look, you got to be double vaxxed, and I assume some sort of, I don't know how you guys are handling proof in the United States, some sort of proof of double vaccination before being allowed into indoor restaurants, things like that. And
that's not a thing.
No, it's just a word. It's just a word.
It's just I'm double vaxxed. Scout's honor.
Scout's honor. Double vaxxed, sir. You cannot question otherwise. But either way, I would hope again that most people would be this will be November. probably a little optimistic. But yeah, if it's allowed, I mean, Madison Square Garden, I'm sure they can implement some sort of please be double vaccinated. All the staff has to be double vaccinated. All the fighters, coaches, everyone has to be double vaccinated. So it's possible. It's the issue definitely of the partial. They might also decide, well, we still only want to have partial capacity. And that's where we run into the problem with Dana White, who has said, I'm not doing partial capacity to venues. It's sold out all the way. So if there's even the slightest chance that there's that extra bit of safety protocol from Madison Square Garden or from from New York City, you're not going to see UFC 268 in Madison Square Garden. So it's just not going to happen in New York. So I like the suggestion there. Definitely Florida, the paradise that Dana White has has declared Florida to be. It's probably where they would have it. For the Covington factor, send Usman into some, I guess, enemy territory. Covington plays in Florida, right? Like, I mean, he's popular still there, right?
Yeah, Usman used to train in Florida too, and he just knocked out Jorge Masvidal in Florida, so I don't think he'll have any problem with there. Florida's numbers are looking horrendous, though.
Real bad.
Yeah, so I don't know if Florida's possible. Do you think Colby Covington is going to want to fight in an arena if people are being forced to be vaccinated? Something tells me he's not.
That was my thought too. Like, even if the UFC could make MSG work, it would be a kind of a Dana move to just pull out of New York City as protest. I could see that totally happening.
Yeah, I mean, we've already seen a handful of fighters, including bantamweight champions, tweet about this, which was alarming. I think a lot of he was like, I don't get people that argue in Twitter on general, but he was like arguing with a lot of like people with like 10, 15 followers. I'm like, dude, stop it. You're a public figure.
It happens to the best of us.
It happens to the. I can't do it. Anyway, Miami, Vegas, or other, I guess Arizona's possibility. Doesn't seem like we care about any of this happening over here. Texas, maybe. I know Dana wants to go to Texas a bunch. I would assume Vegas or Texas. Though Vegas, you have to wear masks now. From what I hear, well, yeah, you have to at least wear the mask. I don't know how they're handling like vaccines and stuff. But from what I've heard, because I haven't been back to Vegas in a bit, is the media has to wear masks again. Like, even if you are vaccinated, you have to wear a mask, even backstage. AK, are you frozen?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, just my video. Just yeah.
Okay.
McDonald's Wi-Fi, you know how it is. I gotta get into McDonald's. Yeah.
I couldn't tell if you were deep in thought.
Yeah. No, the video's probably a little choppy. Hopefully the audio's coming through.
Anyway, we got a few comments from the previous question.
Let's go.
If they come up. Championship clause. 3 fights for AJ. Source. Mike Bond's interview with McKee's. So there you go. Questions asked, answers received.
Wait, what does that mean? What does that mean?
I think the championship clause, like, so you might extend your contract 3 fights.
Oh.
So question asked, answer
But then
received.
if you okay. So starting from when he won it,
yeah.
They're saying like that he now owes them 3 fights. Okay.
AJ McKee versus Concord McGregor might help.
Okay.
Don't know who Concord McGregor is, but if you're thinking of Conor McGregor, wrong weight class unless AJ wants to go to 155, which I know he definitely does. Some people are saying there's a lot of like people throwing names out for AJ McKee, but they're all pretty much what he said, like AJ versus Max, AJ versus this. Anyway, moving on.
Savas, McKee annihilates McGregor at this point, right?
At this point, Concord's a goner.
Concord McGregor does not stand a chance against AJ.
Just your opinions. What are some of the worst pay-per-views the UFC has ever put on? This week features
this is a Jose question.
This week features an interim heavyweight title fight no one asked for, when we could be receiving John Jones versus Francis G. Francis, his first name begins with an N. Francis Ngannou. And Francis Ngannou. Also, okay, that's fair. Also, Francis Ngannou is the reigning heavyweight champion of the world. He would get top billing, not John Jones. Anyway, worst pay-per-views.
Jose, you can go for it. Yeah, this is a Jose
UFC,
question.
Is it 149? Was that the Calgary one? That was bad.
I was there. I think
that was real bad.
I was there as a fan, I believe.
177 was also really bad.
Why was it bad?
So 149 was just decimated by injuries, and like I think only one fight had its original. One main card fight had its original. Was the original fight, and that was Shet Congo versus I can't even remember. And even after, Shet Congo was like, I was hurt, I should have pulled out, because it was a bad fight. It was a bad heavyweight fight, and he was like, I should have pulled out, but he didn't want to because everyone was. There was like a 2-year stretch of time where like everyone got hurt. Uriah Faber was supposed to fight Dominic Cruz at UFC 148, and that was like the big rivalry. And UFC 148 was Anderson Silva versus Chael Sonnen 2, which was going to be the biggest pay-per-view ever at the time. And they were the co-main event for that. Dominic Cruz gets hurt, so they pull Uriah Faber from. See, Alex's cat is so upset about the talk of UFC 149. So they did Uriah Faber versus Hanan Barao was the main event, which was a fine fight, but it's not what people wanted. It was also for an interim title, not the undisputed title. And the co-main was Hector Lombard and Tim
His
Boesch.
Debut. This was Lombard's debut. Oh, that was so disappointing.
Who was he supposed to fight? I don't think it was originally Tim Boesch.
I don't know. I'm looking at I only see. Oh, Bisping. No. Oh, Bisping was supposed to fight Tim Boesch.
Yes, and then Hector Lombard.
So I don't know where.
Regardless,
yes,
that wasn't the best.
That was
fight.
Very disappointing.
He's
still Dana White to this. Not want to say to this day, but as recently as like a couple years ago, it was like still mentions 149 as like he apologizes for it.
Well, that's why that Calgary Fox card that he brought, it was like Eddie versus Dustin, Joanna, Tisha Torres. Who else was on that card? There was one other really big fight. I can't remember. But he's like, this is a payback, and I'm sorry for UFC 149. UFC 177 was pretty bad, but that was also decimated by injuries. That was the co-main event was supposed to be TJ Hanan Barao too, but then Hanan Barao passed out cutting weight like 2 days before, so they took Joe Soto, former Bellator champion, who was fighting on the prelims in his debut, and just elevated him to a title fight.
He came up when we were asking. I think we were asking like if it was Michael Chandler, one of the fastest ever to get a title fight in the UFC, and we were like, Joe Soto's the answer. The day of his debut.
Yeah. And then I can't remember what the rest of the card was shaping up to be. I think DJ Chris Carriasso was the co-main. And then that got moved to UFC 178 as the main event. That was the first Conor Dustin card. And
correct.
Tony Ferguson versus Danny Castillo was elevated to the co-main event.
Yes. That was a controversial fight, wasn't it? That was
one of those fights where Danny Castillo spent the entire fight on top, and Tony Ferguson was just throwing elbows from the bottom. And Danny Castillo's interview post-fight, because he thought he won, was if this fight was in jail, Tony Ferguson would have had a new dad. Like, okay.
Special shout out to UFC 76. Back when they did titles for pay-per-views, which I sorely miss. UFC 76 Knockout, which did not feature any knockouts, which is just hilarious. But it had Forrest Griffin, Shogun Rua, great fight. So I mean, it's not like it was a terrible card. I don't think so. I'm looking back on it. It certainly wasn't the more memorable ones, but it is funny that there was three submissions, 6 decisions, no knockouts.
UFC 33 is like widely considered to be like one of, if not the worst. That was I believe the first pay-per-view post 9/11. So apparently Vegas was a ghost town from all the stories I heard. Like no one was in Vegas doing anything because of the situation going on in the country. And Dana put this stacked card together. Like he had 3 5-round fights at the top, and he actually did the Star Spangled Banner at the beginning, and it was like a whole big thing. And then almost every fight went to a decision, including the 3 5-round fights, and they went overtime. So I'm pretty sure fans didn't even see the end of the fight. I think it was Tito Ortiz versus Vladimir Matsuchenko. Of course, AK Lee remembers that fight vividly. So I believe those are usually on the short list for worst pay-per-views.
You guys have been to more live events than I have. Savas, what's like the worst like live event you've been to? Like just for whatever reason, whether it's because the card was bad or you just had a crap experience or.
I don't know if I ever had like a really bad experience. There's a couple and it has nothing to do with like the promotion or the fighters or anything. Obviously, just like it would be like personal problems or like issues with other media members or. Oh,
we can't. Okay, all right, cut it.
No, it's nothing bad. I mean, people just. I'm a short person, and so like I always like go up to the front because I'm not blocking anybody's view, and then there's people who don't acknowledge the headspace above me as my personal space. And people like try to put their camera above me, and then like this guy's like arms kept falling and hitting me in the head. I'm like, my guy, like my space.
I think it was UFC 200, UFC 222. I can't quite remember the exact pay-per-view number, but it was back when the T-Mobile Arena's media room was the visiting team locker room, because like obviously the T-Mobile Arena is an NHL arena, and one of the local media TV studios got there really late, and the scrums were already happening, and he kept telling me to move, and I was like, bro, I've been here for 3 hours. You just got here, and I was gonna fist fight him. I was real angry. I was real angry. PR yelled at him. Anyway, moving on. Anyway, last things. AK, what's the worst event you've covered live then?
I've only been to like a handful.
You've been to Calgary. You've been to Edmonton.
Yeah, no, I don't.
You've been to
you know what?
Vancouver.
I don't think I was in Calgary.
Detroit.
I think I remember if it was at 149 live. I don't think I was there live. But I was at, what was the one in Winnipeg? Henderson.
Oh, that one was Rashad Evans. Rashad Evans. That was bad.
Yes.
That had Stipe Roy Nelson was the co-main event.
Yeah, that
was real bad.
That was as a fan, though. I was not covering as media. That was before.
That wasn't great. That wasn't great.
We've had some bad cards up here. We've had some
great cards up there too.
We've had some great guesses.
Anyway,
yes, we've had some great.
Four Corner Sports NY again on Twitter. Cody Garbrandt going down to 125 pounds to fight Kai Kara France. How many wins would he need to have a fight for the belt? And can this jump to go down to flyweight help him have longevity, or would bantamweight give him that better of an opportunity? So, okay, worded strange, but I understand what you're saying. I think if Cody beats Kai Kara France, he fights for the title next. AK?
If it's like a first round knockout, yeah, easily. I mean,
regardless of whether it's a knockout or not, I think he fights for the title.
I think if it's a stinker, I don't think he fights for the title. But I mean, we have to see what other options are at 125. But he was scheduled to fight Figgy last
for the
December,
title,
so
and he was gonna have no wins.
He has no wins at 125. So it's a good question. But I mean, I think if you think about it for like 2 seconds, the UFC loves Cody Garbrandt. They love Cody Garbrandt. They like his style of fighting. They like his personality.
He has a huge following online.
Huge online following. The way he came up, he was a made man after he beat Dominic Cruz. He was a made man after that, right? So his name is going to carry that forever. One win. Well, I think it has to be impressive. Jose doesn't think so. Savas, I don't know. What do you think? Gets it no matter what?
Well, based on what you're saying, you convinced me. Yeah, probably. But if it was up to me, Brandon Moreno would not fight anyone for a long time and remain flyweight champ forever.
Savas, that is not an option. The man has to.
I think what Cody has going for him is Brandon Moreno is already mentioning Cody. They're like, who do you want to fight next? He's like, I like the Cody fight. So if the champ is mentioning you, then you're already on the short list. But if Cody wants to see how his body reacts before going back down, that's another thing. Also, let's not forget, this fight is in December. A lot of things could happen between now and December. Kai could get hurt. Cody could get hurt. There's a pandemic happening in the world. Chad Skelly walked all the way to the octagon and didn't even fight. So until I see Kai Kara France and Cody Garbrandt inside the octagon, this fight's not happening.
What about what do you guys think though about the longevity side of it?
Yes.
Will this increase his longevity?
He's not a big bantamweight. He said he would walk around at like 145, 140. So if he's cutting 5 to 10 pounds to go to 135 and he adds 10 to 15, it's not gonna be great. Alex, you like morning weigh-ins. Alex Savage, you like morning weigh-ins.
It's gonna get harder every year though. I mean, the older you get, that's what they say.
Yeah, you don't historically see fighters go down in weight getting older.
Yeah. I'll say good luck to you. I mean, I don't want to do it.
Four Corner Sports. I almost said Sprots like
right,
Casey.
okay.
Like Casey. Four Corner Sports hopped into our chat. He said, "Sorry for I was driving into the city as I was tweeting. Don't drive and tweet, people. Come on, this is you know what? That's what you should be apologizing for, not the wording."
Also, I didn't think people drove into New York City. It seems like a nightmare.
Ooh.
Anyway, I'm gonna go through the YouTube comments, see if we got anything. A lot of talk about AJ going to 155. Someone says AK, how's Tough been? We don't get a lot of the Ultimate Fighter questions anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Or you know what? Maybe we do, but Casey runs the questions, and Casey is a known hater of the Ultimate Fighter, so maybe we just don't talk about it. How's the Ultimate Fighter been?
The fights have been excellent. The fights have been really good. So that part of it is, if you're one of those people who only tunes in for the fights, you're having a great time. Very, very good fights, very entertaining fights. The show is as ever. Maybe more boring. They did nothing to change in their hiatus between season 29, season 28. Nothing to change the format. Nothing. And that's fine. I've said this to a bunch of people. If you love The Ultimate Fighter for what it is, again, you're enjoying the fights and you're enjoying the way they handle the pre-fight hype and kind of looking at the guys' lives. Cool. If you thought it was stale like 10 seasons ago, it feels more stale than ever. Like, it feels like a show, honestly, that came out 5 years ago, 6 years ago. It's so weird. But a lot of exciting names on there, like Ricky Tercios is going to be a lot of fun. It's cool to see Vincent Murdoch get back in the cage. He had the brain condition. So he's back. So there's some good stories in there, good talents. I think they picked the right divisions. I don't know if I see anyone as being like, oh, this guy's going to be a future champion or anything, but I think we know a long time ago that that's really not what the Ultimate Fighter or the Contender Series are for. So I would say recommend, like, if you like tough, check it out. Otherwise, if you tuned out a long time ago, there's not a lot of reason to tune back in.
I'm still shocked that they're still using the neon-colored basketball jerseys as uniforms.
Yes, that has
I like
to go.
those. No. See that I'm a fan, but again, I'm a tough guy, so it's like I'm into that stuff.
I'm a
TUF guy.
I want to see something. I want to see some flair. I want to see some jumpsuits. I want to see basketball. I want to see like boys to men jumpsuits.
Yeah, we need to elevate it. Reality TV has gone off the deep end. Like, they need to keep up.
Oh yeah,
Let me know if you need any.
Alex Savas, you haven't watched The Ultimate Fighter, huh?
I actually watched 2 episodes this season, the first 2 episodes, because I love Volkanovski.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd give it a shot, and it was just unbearable. Like he said, I mean, it's like watching something from 1994. Like, I feel like it should be in 4:3 on my TV. It's like unbelievable.
Yeah, if people don't know, Alex Savas is our resident reality TV show expert on MMAfighting.com. So if she doesn't watch it,
it's not scandalous enough.
Probably not scandalous. Yep, there you go. Anyway. From
but the jerseys, if they adopted like full on like Adidas like tracksuits,
with the kangaroo hats, with like the kangaroo hats and everything.
Yeah, LL Cool J, just straight up LL Cool J-ing it. Yeah, absolutely.
Some dope donkey chains rolling in, dude. I'd be about it. I'd actually watch. I'd get a jersey and everything. Anyway, Zua01, Dustin recently talks about maybe retiring and focusing on hot sauce business after winning the belt. Habib and Henry Cejudo also retired in their prime. Do you see the same trend with fighters who are able to secure their future financially to leave MMA early after winning the belt? So, AK, I think it's different fighter to fighter because we see a lot of guys who I'm sure are financially set, a la Matt Brown. He owns a gym. He's already retired once. I don't think he's hurting for money, but he continues to fight because he just enjoys fighting. He doesn't need it. It's just, something he enjoys doing. But then when you see guys like Henry Cejudo and Habib, I think Habib might be a little different. I don't think he retired because of monetary reasons. He retired because his father passed away and his mother didn't want him to fight anymore. Henry definitely retired for monetary reasons. Wanted a lot more money than Dana White was willing to pay him, so he just retired. So, AK, we'll start with you. Will we see this trend moving forward? Will we see this trend pop up more moving forward?
I think it's like you said, it depends from fighter to fighter. Dustin's going to be an interesting example because if you'll remember, he has so much mileage on him. He's been fighting since he was like a teenager, like since he was like 20, since he was like 20.
What's the documentary they did on him? Like
Fightville?
Fightville, yeah. He was like 3-0 or something like that, fighting in like a carnival or something like that. It's like wild.
Yeah, he's a different story. He's got a lot more mileage than most. It's crazy. He's only now starting to make the money that an athlete of his caliber should be making.
Masvidal is the same.
Yeah, same, right? So they have a different perspective on it. Like a guy who becomes champion. Like let's bring up Cody Garbrandt. A guy like Cody Garbrandt, even if he had a successful business, which I don't know, maybe he does, has some things on the roast or on the fire, as it were. He's probably still going to stick around a few more years longer because it's like, again, he became champion so young. They want to fight, they want to do it. But Poirier, he's had all the thrills. He's really done it all. He's beaten Conor McGregor twice. He's won an interim belt. If he wins the undisputed belt, it's for us as fans to say, now he's stick around and really cement his legacy. But legacy does not feed the bulldog. And it's like he has a family. I don't know if we ever. I'll kind of go in a different path direction. I don't know if we ever again see the Anderson Silva, George St. Pierre, Demetrius Johnson, 8, 9, 10, 11 straight title fights.
You're getting ahead.
Oh, here we go.
Also, do you see Anderson, GSP, John Jones, Demetrius streak from any fighter in the future? So before we answer that, Alex Savas, are we going to see more fighters retire early for financial reasons?
Yes, but I don't think it's purely financial either. A lot of the time, I mean, we're getting so much more science and data back about like CTE and the effects of sparring and things like that. And what we saw with like the Spencer Fisher piece from our own Stephen Morocco, like this is entering people's heads. And Mike Heck did an interview with one of the younger guys, the new guy, and he was very aware of the damage he took in the fight. And he's like, that was more damage than I wanted to take. I don't want to keep doing this. Like who was that?
I think was it Jeff Molina?
Maybe. And he was just he's like, I don't want to take that much damage in my next fights. Like these young guys coming up are very aware of the effects of fighting and stuff like that. So, but the retiring early and in your prime, I mean, I'm full 100% advocate for, because otherwise, like, you're going to talk about legacy. I mean, people want to remember your name as its prime, not to mention if you're looking for financial stability after the fact. If you want to open a gym, if you want to brand yourself or do any of those things, it's better to do it while people know you as one of the best or going out on top. Nobody wants to join a gym of an old washed up UFC champ or whatever. So that's all part to consider.
To answer Scott McCrae's question, how does it benefit a fighter to retire because they're not getting paid enough? To answer the Henry Cejudo question, Henry Cejudo was fine financially. He just wanted, as he said, heavyweight money, and he wasn't going to get it. So he had the power to walk away. Some fighters can't walk away because it's like, as Tim Mean said, he likes fighting, doesn't really care if he fights for the belt or not, because to him this is a day job and this is how he feeds his kids.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, what else are you going to do? They've been fighting their whole life. They don't have any training.
Have you ever seen that? Either of you seen when Miguel Cotto lost one of his last? It might have been at Canelo. And then he was backstage, because you know how boxing does behind the scenes and 24/7 documentaries better than anything the UFC has ever done. And they just had a camera on him. It wasn't like camera cuts or anything. There was no ambient music playing, so you could just hear all the noise around him. And his hands were unwrapped, but he was in the back. His face was all bruised and cut. And his wife is sitting next to him, and she's just like clearly holding in tears, because this is like his 50th something fight. He just lost badly. And then he just like looks at her, and she starts bawling her eyes out. And he goes, and his phrase was like, "What else can I do? This is all I got. This is all I was like, oh my God, like, ouch. Praise the cameraman, but don't show me that. I don't want to see that. But I'll try to find that clip and tweet it out or something like that. But that sticks with me. Also because I went into that fight, as I have said many times, I'm a big Canelo Alvarez fan, so I was really happy. But then I saw that, and it just bummed me out so badly, because I like Miguel Cotto. I just was not rooting for him at the time, but it made me feel bad. I think he had one more fight and then retired. One of the best ever. Anyway, to answer Ray's question on Twitter, do you ever see an Anderson, GSP, John Jones, or Demetrius like championship streak with any fighter in the future? I think if someone's going to do it, it'll probably be Kamaru Usman right now, or maybe Izzy. I think the Robert Whittaker fight is going to be very telling. AK?
No, I don't think it would really surprise me. I mean, the equivalent, if anything, Amanda Nunes and Valentina Shevchenko come to mind. Amanda Nunes, especially, I mean, if you combine the featherweight and bantamweight title defenses, then she'll get close. But we already know she's starting a family. She's mentioned multiple times, not that she wants to retire, but she's clearly looked ahead beyond her competitive years. So I always say with her, every year, honestly, coming up could be her last. I really would be surprised if she's still competing in 2023. I would be surprised. I really would. And so she could come the closest, but who knows how many title defenses are even in there. Could be one fight a year for her. She might not even want to fight more than once. And then, like I said, those guys come from a different era where the money was a little different. The way the UFC ran itself was a little different. I think it'd be really difficult to hit the kind of 8, 9, 10, 11 consecutive title defenses again. There's other options. Again, I know people don't want to talk about this all the time, but like celebrity boxing, there's other things to look at outside the UFC. Look how Conor McGregor handled it, just kind of jumping between divisions. The motivation, there's just not that great incentive, I think, to necessarily keep defending titles as opposed to looking for new challenges and jumping to other divisions. And so, yeah, I think it's highly doubtful we see one of those again.
If someone's going to do it, it'll be Valentina, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But she got Alexa Grasso coming up. I don't think Macy's close. Macy obviously believes she's close. Miranda Maverick, I think, is only going to get better off of her loss. Who else is at 125 that could give her a test.
I mean, people are really excited about like Manuel Fiorot and stuff like that, but
yes.
but some of these people feel so far away.
They are.
Like they feel
Again, they're like prospects.
They're exactly.
So like they're
She's
not
in her
anywhere close.
prime.
Like the top five. I think the Alessa Grasso fight would be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like striking wise. But who's Grasso fighting right now?
Andrea Lee?
Oh no, she's fighting Jojo.
Yeah.
Oh, that fight rules. UFC really wants Jojo Valentina. They've given Jojo a million number one contender fights.
I want it.
I want it at this point. Alex Savas. Are we getting to see another long reigning champion?
I was gonna say yes, but AK kind of changed my mind about, just looking for greener pastures. You're right. Like being the champ isn't really the pinnacle of the career anymore.
No.
It's like what else is out there. So
I think
for all the money.
I think Valentina could do it. I think Valentina is financially secure, and she just seems to enjoy fighting, like training, competing at a high level. She's also one of the few that is like next man up. A lot of champions after 3 or 4 wins, title defenses, they start looking for those big money fights. But Valentina really does seem just give me the next body. Like she's like when Jennifer Maia won, she's like, Jennifer Maia's next. When Jessica Andrade moved up, she's like, okay. Like she's not arguing. And Dana loves those fighters. Loves them. Valentina is fighting Lauren Murphy. Is that in October or September?
October.
Is that the
September?
Is that the co-main event to Ortega Volkanovski?
Oh wait a minute, it's September. Yeah, September.
And then the Nick Diaz show is right before it. That's also a 5-round. Oh my god, no, I can't believe no one asked about that. But yeah, I would say Valentina. If Izzy gets through Robert Whittaker, which is by no means an easy task, is there anyone at 120, 185 for him? Is there anyone at 185 for either of men, honestly, outside of each other?
I know. I think they're the clear cut. They're the clear cut.
They are
the
best. They are clearly 1A, 1B to me.
Yeah.
If they fight 10 times, that could be 5 and 5.
Yeah, I picked up against it. Well, hey, Sean Strickland, get up there. Let's see what Sean Strickland can do.
There's been a few questions about Sean Strickland's performance in the chat, and hey man, Sean Strickland fights Izzy or Robert Whittaker, that'd just be a fun fight. Don't know if he wins, but he's gonna talk a lot.
And so would Izzy. That's not gonna get in Izzy's head at all. Let me tell you something. No. He's not gonna put up with that.
Right. And Robert Whittaker's just gonna like laugh at him. Just like I'm gonna
Savas, I know you don't want Moreno to ever defend his title, but do you think he could? Do you think he has the potential to? It's such a tough division, but I mean,
such a hard division.
He could rattle off.
He could. He very well could. But it's just it's one of those things where every fight feels like a coin flip at some point. Like it just anything can happen.
Well,
it's just that mentality.
To go off of that, I can't find the question. I'm losing. The questions are coming in a lot faster than they were at the beginning. Perfect. There it is. Ooh, let's get this one out of here. Why do you think high-stake fights finish so quickly? Is it related to high-pressure? Example, Anderson Silva, Chris Weidman, Jose Aldo, Conor McGregor, and most recently, Patricio Pitbull, AJ McKee from Takiro Man 91. So we do see a lot of fights that are built up in this big, exorbitant fashion. The UFC puts the PR machine behind it. And when's the last time the UFC has built up this big mega fight that's ended being like a fight of the year?
Oh, wow.
Or like an insane fight. Like you can even like Amanda Nunes Ronda, that was lightning quick. Like Amanda Nunes Miesha Tate was lightning quick. Aldo McGregor, Eddie Alvarez McGregor. I know that was the second round, but it was still like that Eddie won 0 seconds of that fight. Like he just pieced him up.
I mean, you're counting
Israel Adesanya, Robert Whittaker. Like again, that was built up to be the big middleweight fight.
We just saw Sandhagen Dillashaw.
I guess I was thinking of like title fights and stuff. Like these high
pay-per-views.
Stake fights. Yeah.
That'd be like a tier B high stake fight. Like you're talking about tier A.
Yeah.
Like maybe like Gastelum Adesanya.
Oh, that's a bang. Right on the money. Yeah. But the problem with that one is that was for an interim title, and I felt like the UFC was not getting behind that, like marketing wise. Because the main event was for like the lightweight. That was the co-main event.
I was saying, Poirier Holloway, right? Poirier Holloway. There we go. So
that was also for an interim title though. And also Dustin wasn't the man yet. Remember, because the only reason they made that, they wanted Tony Habib. Habib was taking time off, and then they said Tony fight Dustin for the interim title, and he said no, and so they gave it to Max. So that was like their third option. That wasn't even their first option. Was that the greatest fight card ever? Maybe. It was at least the best co-main 1-2 punch I can remember in a long time, but. Yeah, you guys aren't wrong about that one. But even like Habib Poirier, that was what, second round submission?
Second
or third round. Like, it's rough. It's rough. A lot. I don't know. I don't think it's high pressure or anything. These are also like the best fighters in the world fighting.
Yeah.
So anything can happen.
Yeah. Only I think we were spoiled by the GSP era where it was all a lot of control, exciting in its own way. I always thought, but I do remember at the time, GSP took a lot. I mean, probably to this day still. GSP took a lot of flack for his style, but
the first
that's why he became so big. I think.
The first Anderson Silva Chris Weidman fight obviously ended 5th round submission, but Chael Sonnen.
No, so you said Sonnen. Oh yeah, Sonnen. You said Silva Sonnen. Yeah.
Silva Sonnen. That fight ended, so that was a big
Great.
one.
I mean, John Jones is,
John Jones Gustafson was
Dominic
bananas.
Reyes, but I mean,
Yeah, those fights were bananas.
how hyped were those fights? I guess
That's
would be
what
the
I'm
question
saying.
compared to Silva, Weidman, Aldo McGregor, Pitbull, McKee. Yeah,
I don't know.
I think there's a bit of confirmation bias. I think now we're thinking about
Figueiredo Moreno.
Oh yeah.
That was a bit. Justin Gaethje and Tony Ferguson. I know that was. I think a lot of people assumed Justin Gaethje would be a harder fight for Habib than Tony at the time anyway. So that was more like let's see how he does against Tony for the interim title. And I am so happy that had an empty arena.
The first Cormier Jones fight went 5 rounds, right? So
yeah, but that wasn't very competitive.
But it was a highly hyped fight.
Salty Veteran says, I think Volk for sure. I don't think he beat Holloway, but he's a great fighter and champ worthy. I like Volk for sure. So I don't know if you're saying I like Volk to have a long reign, but a lot of people
check out our rankings, people. Check out our rankings. By the way, which just came updated today, and you can see what we think of Volkanovski and what we think of Holloway and AJ McKee.
I don't vote on the rankings. AK does, so you can go see how they played out. Alex, is Volkanovski or Holloway your number one featherweight?
Volkanovski.
Yeah, mine too. But I put him there because he's the champion. A lot of people view it as talent wise, and I think Dustin Poirier is the most talented lightweight in the world. I still rank Charles Oliveira above him because he has a big shiny belt. But it's neither here nor there. Anyway, I'm gonna bring this up because I want to correct this man. This Abdulaziz. I can't pronounce. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce. I apologize for mispronouncing his name. Would you rather see AJ versus Max or Horiguchi versus Moreno in a fight? Well, I read this question completely wrong. I must have been really tired. This is an interesting question anyway, so I'm taking it back.
What do you think it said?
I thought, because I didn't see the Max thing. I was so tired when I was pulling these up because it's so early. I thought it was, would you rather see AJ versus Horiguchi or Moreno? I mean, like, that doesn't make any sense. But AJ versus Max or Horiguchi versus Moreno in a cross-promotional fight? Ooh. Wow. Hi, PJ. I would probably AJ Max. Oh, but dude, Horiguchi and Moreno, they are two of the nicest people you will ever meet in the world. If there's oh man. All right, I'm gonna have to think about this. Alex Savas, what do you say?
I don't like watching two nice people fight, so I guess I'll take AJ Max.
There you go. That's very fair.
I'll make the case for Horiguchi Moreno. I mean, I just think. I know a lot of people might not be following Horiguchi as closely because he's over in Ryzen. He's now fighting in North America, but his fights have been super exciting.
Yeah.
As it was again when he was in the UFC, he's just such a fun fighter to watch. And him and Moreno, I agree. It would suck that one of them would have to lose unless it went to a draw. But man, like just the skill level. And I'm not saying AJ versus McKee would not be a high skilled fight, but there's something intriguing about the speed and the skill level of Horiguchi and Moreno. And I'm trying to imagine now in Japan, gosh, they're having COVID issues too. Like I want to see like a packed Saitama Super Arena or something. That's like this great visual I have, but obviously that really can't happen now. And it's a cross-promotional fight, so it can't happen anyway. But yeah, that to me, maybe I give that to the edge right now. Also, I'm probably more intrigued right now with I still think there's there's challenges for AJ McKee in Bellator that I'm interested in. Moreno, yes, there's guys, but again, some of them, I think quite a few some of them might be rematches and things like that. And then Horiguchi, again, he needs fresh opponents. So I think that'd be
Horiguchi's
awesome.
had the cross-promotional fights in Bellator too.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Horiguchi versus Pettis would rule.
Yeah, and should happen.
Well, what if Pitbull dropped down to 135 and fought Horiguchi? Oh, one can dream.
Yeah, it's possible.
One can dream.
Again, we've been saying he looks like a guy who could make that cut.
Alex Savas, if you haven't watched like old UFC embeddeds, or actually, I'm pretty sure Horiguchi has a YouTube channel, or just go watch some of his videos. He is the most jovial man, not named Brandon Moreno, and he loves fishing so much. I have never met a man who loves fishing more than Kyoji Horiguchi. Like, I think like this whole argument of like Gregor Gillespie being the best fisherman in MMA, I think is Kyoji Horiguchi. I've been saying that forever. I remember an old embedded before he was fighting Demetrius Johnson, who was like in Montreal, and he was like watching. He was literally just watching people fish on his iPad. He goes, and he's like, this just gets my mind right. Like he's like cutting weight, and he's just literally, he goes, and he's just like, this is my happy place. I was like, oh man, I'm here for it. I'm here.
So weird.
He's such a nice man though. He trains down at he's at ATT, right? Yeah, he's at ATT. Such a nice individual. Anyway, Terrence Leverett on site, judging by round. We'll be quick with. Well, I'll try to be quick with this. I know you all get asked questions about judging all the time, so I'll offer an idea. I said on Twitter to Casey Leiden, I think fights should be scored by the round. Like, if 2 out of 3 judges give you that round, you want it. That way we get rid of split decisions. If judging was done like this, like on the TJ versus Corey fight, he would have won. Thoughts? P.S. Please bring back the video questions, or allow fans to video chat in like Brandon Schaub does on his new show. Thanks and welcome back, Alex. So, yeah, we'll have updates on the A side maybe at another time for that. But I would love to bring back the video submission questions. But real quick, AK, do you like the idea of judging fights round by round?
God, I mean, I'm not against it. Because I don't think it paints that different of a picture than what we're getting now. So for people who might not understand Terrence's question, because I don't know if everyone knows the exact scorecard situation. 2 out of the 3 judges scored the fight for Corey Sandhagen in 3 rounds of that fight with TJ Dillashaw. But if you just tabulate the numbers, the math, the way it's, the total score, then it's TJ who got the more 10s that he needed. I know it's confusing. I would just tell people go look up the scorecard and kind of do the math. It's almost like a mind trick. This happens in a few fights. This also happened in the second Nunez-Shevchenko fight. Shevchenko actually won 2 out of 3 judges' scores on 3 rounds out of 5, but the way the math adds up, Amanda Nunez had more 48, 47s. It's very, very strange. So I'm not against trying it. I don't think it goes against the spirit of how the scorecards are supposed to be tabulated. So let me put it this way: I'm more into this than open scoring. So yeah. I can say that now because Casey's not here, so I'm not going to get a whole diatribe about it. But yeah, it is interesting, and so many people thought Corey won. It would kind of go along with the eye test as well. Now, would it create some other new controversies? I'd have to look back at kind of, again, situations where maybe it didn't work out that way. But I like the idea, Terrence. That's a good point to bring up. And I'd advise fans really look at these scorecards and kind of be like, how did this come to this number? It's interesting.
It will be interesting when you get those 9-9 rounds. Who got was it the Kai Kamaka? Not Kai Kamaka.
Yeah, Kai Kamaka.
Yeah, he got a point taken away.
The low blow. Yep.
And it was a draw. Alex, do you like this idea? Quick.
No, it's just a Band-Aid fix for what the real problem is, and that's bad judges.
True.
Correct. I like the
Preach.
I just like the you won this round, you won that round, like in Pride. I don't need the whole 10-9 system. Everyone has said, I know Alex Savas got Izzy on camera saying like use the whole 10-point system. Give it like 10 threes, give it 10 fours. Like 10 sevens shouldn't, like we never get 10 sevens anymore. I remember when Frank Edgar and Gray Maynard fought to a draw. Do you remember that first round, AK? Was just...
I prefer not to think about that because I'm a big Frank Edgar fan. And I just remember the comeback slam.
Yeah, that first round was basically Gray Maynard beat him as close to death as a fighter could possibly. Like, if the referee stopped it, I would have been like, yeah, thank God. But he let it happen, and then Frank Edgar still came back and won. And I remember Gray Maynard rewatching that fight. Draw. Well, he climbed back up the scorecard. Yeah. I remember Gray Maynard watching it. There was it was like an embedded, not embedded, it was like a countdown or something. He's like, why was that not a 10-7? Like, why was that not like? I was like, I don't have an answer for you, Gray Maynard. That's a good question. Anyway, I guess this individual has a second and third idea. Did we answer one of his before? I'm sorry. It's been a long morning. I apologize. Second and third idea. I have tried messaging you guys on Facebook, but my question never gets read. Include international audience, please. Oh, sorry. I know it's live, but lots of other podcasts manage to include more than U.S. audiences in their shows. You're not wrong. I apologize. We will bring this. We will bring this idea to Casey from Unique Areola. Interesting username you got going on. Spelled with U''Neek. I watched Bellator for the first time, and these are some things that I enjoyed over UFC events. So interesting question that we asked Alex this earlier. Fighter walkouts, production work, following them beforehand. What? So he likes the fighter walkouts, is what he's saying. Like,
and it's the production work, like it's, it's on Showtime, right?
Yes. So it's
kind of boxing style.
I don't know I don't know if that's Bellator employees or like UFC employees. When actually, I know they hire a lot of their contractors because Alex, when we covered the card in Chicago, our old colleague Hunter was with us, and he knew all of the techs working. He's like, oh yeah, I worked with that guy at an NBA game, I worked at that guy at a hockey game. So like they clearly brought in like professionals, not like actual Bellator employees. So did you guys like the walkouts for Bellator?
I love them. Savas?
Yeah. I love them. Sure. Nobody does them right. I feel like I would love them, but like, I don't know. They're just.
How should they be done?
They're just cringy. Like, just do better. Pick a better song. Stop trying to dance if you're not on rhythm. Like, it takes me out of it completely.
I disagree.
Oh.
Dance your fighters. Dance your hearts out. If you're terrible, if you're good, I don't care. Dance your hearts out. Who was Hannah Guy? Was it Hannah Guy? Yeah. The Valerie Loretta, who beat Hannah Loretta. That was one of my favorite moments of the year. Dance. Dance. I'll get down. I will never tell people not to dance. Alex Savas, how dare you?
Did you guys like AJ's entrance? Coming out to Dr. Dre with the money and everything?
Oh, it was sick.
I don't remember it.
He walked out to Dr. Dre, obviously California. Englewood is from California, and he had a massive wad. I don't know if it was real money or not, but it's obviously the winner gets the $1 million check and he threw it up in the air. I think that is very overplayed.
Yeah, that's
every
aspect.
Okay, fine. Every aspect of entertainment, not just the sporting world, but making it rain is very 2003 for me, and I have no. If it never happens again, I wouldn't care, unless it was something funny. Besides,
some of these entrances do have a little bit of a high school vice presidential election quality to them, but I like that. I always have. Maybe I'm immature. I like that. I need someone to do. You guys remember when they did the elections in high school? I need someone to do he's coming in on a helicopter and he's on a boat and then he's driving in on a motorcycle and it's like he's coming into the arena and it's like, oh, now he pops out of the entrance. Wow, how did he do that?
So
that's amazing.
Like pretty much what the old WWF used to do.
Yeah. I need one of those. I find those hilarious.
If you want to be cheesy, then fine. But like, it's them taking themselves too seriously while they're like fake rapping. Like, what are you doing?
Funnier.
No,
it has to be sincere, or it's not funny. I don't want them winking at us. No, I want us to be able to laugh with them.
Okay, but see, they're not laughing with themselves. They're like, "Yeah, I look cool.
I'm so tough.
I look like I'm about to fist fight a human being, and I'm throwing money in the air. Yo,
that's funnier for us.
Cool. 2003. 2003. Usher's still a thing. Anyway.
Go ahead.
Does the round cage promote stand-up? So I like the round cage aesthetically. I despise what it does for the actual fighting because you can't corner anyone. Yes. You cannot corner. You cannot make these angles in a circular cage. I think it's. Mm-hmm. I hate the circle cage. I hate it so much. Give me a dodecahedron over a circle cage. That's a 16 sided. I think that's 16 sides. Anyway, colored gloves were cool. Love the colored gloves. I love the.
Yes, and look, one criticism of the UFC: stop putting the fighters' shorts as the short color as the identification for the fighters. Just do red corner, blue corner. Just do red and blue. Sometimes they'll have like this guy's in the gray shorts, this guy's in the silver shorts. It's it's really confusing. So at the very least, if UFC's not going to do a cool colored glove thing, you still have the corners. You still have the tape on their gloves. Just do which kind of corner they're in. Stop being cute with the colors.
Love the gloves.
You can dance, but don't be cute with the colors.
Yeah.
Now you're getting it.
Yeah. Anyway, we got a few more questions specifically for AK if I can ever find them. I doubt it though.
No.
Are we counting
John
all
Guy, what's the over-under on Fast and Furious 30 happening?
I mean, if you want
100%.
to count all Fast and Furious projects, it's already happened. There's been video game spin-offs. There's been shorts. There's a cartoon starring Dominic Toretto's nephew, I believe,
That's
Tony
unfortunate.
Toretto. Yeah, so I mean, we're kind of already, if you add all the lore, that's right.
Is Paul
lore.
Walker? Is it Paul Walker? He's the one that passed away, right? Is he the
Yes,
one
it's
that's?
getting-
Is it missing him?
The ninth one, yeah, it's getting super awkward. Some people I saw really liked how it was handled in the new one, and I understand why. I don't want to spoil anything. I'll just say it's getting awkward why he doesn't show up. And literally every movie now, the last two movies, it's one line. It's like where's Brian? What's it, Paul Walker's guy? Where's Brian? He's got to look after the kids. All right, moving on. So let's go. We got to go save the world. It'd be really nice to have Brian around. It's a shame he has to take the kids to school today. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Don't bring him up. Don't mention him anymore. Getting uncomfortable.
AK, who was the dude punching the bag during the credits?
Oh, I answered this in the chat. I don't think he's an established Fast and Furious character, but
Right.
he is a well-known sort of
Also,
character.
Paul Walker was a creep, right? Isn't that what I hear?
In real life,
Yeah. Wasn't a great
some
person?
allegations of maybe a little Leonardo DiCaprio dating some underage, some young women. Not
But
great.
like when you say young, you mean like under 18 young, right?
I'm going to tell people to look up, but there are allegations out there that yes, when he was coming up, there's some improper relations. So look that up. You guys can look that up.
Favorite Fast and Furious character, and then we'll end on this.
Mia, I'll just say this: Jordana Brewster's character Mia is so underrated. She's like one of the most disregarded.
Literally
characters in the
no
series.
who that is.
She is the love interest of Paul Walker in the first movie, but becomes so much more than that. She is the heart and soul of the Fast and Furious franchise. And just because she gets to kick ass in the new movie, but for the most part, she's like the mom wife character. But she motivates so much of the action in the series. You shouldn't have saved this question for last, because I can give you a 20-minute treatise on why Jordana Brewster is essential to the Fast and Furious series. She was
I would love nothing more.
She was sorely missed in the 8th movie, but I'll say it. Not my favorite character, but I want people to show more appreciation to Mia Toretto / Mia O'Connor. I don't know if they ever actually get married. Mia Toretto.
Does Bow Wow ever come back with his Hulk car?
He's in the new one, and he's not so little anymore.
Man.
I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, he's Bow Wow now.
He's just Bow Wow now. And yes, all the 3 guys from Tokyo Drift come back, and they are unrecognizable.
Why?
Yeah, they're just older.
They just look different. The movie technically, I think, is set maybe 5 years after Tokyo Drift.
From what I've
but
gathered from like people that I know that watch this, it's like all the movies are not in chronological order.
No, there's a lore. There's a whole lore to
exactly. Is that not? I had no idea.
I've seen the first one, like when it first came out, and I've never seen anything.
In Tokyo Drift, I will spoil this movie because it's so old. If you guys haven't watched it yet. There's a really cool character, Han Solo, who dies. Who dies. But he's such a cool character. They wanted to bring him back for the sequel, so they said, "Oh, screw it. We'll just say he's alive, but that these movies are took place before Tokyo Drift. Ignore the phones. Ignore the cell phones.
Is the
ignore
chronologically is Tokyo Drift the last movie?
Not anymore. It is now before the timeline has caught up. So we are now with 7. We caught up. So it is between 4 and 7. No, sorry. It is between 6 and 7.
Learn something new every day. But I remember Bow Wow. I'm gonna end on this. Bow Wow had was like a Scion, like one of those box cars, and it was green, and he had customized it to look like Hulk fists were coming out of the car.
I think they thought that was actually gonna become something.
Yeah, because it ruled.
Great.
And
oh no,
like I don't remember what year that came out, but I was like, even I was like, that's stupid, but I love it. Anyway,
well there you go.
We're gonna end this because that
sums up the series. That sums up the series.
Anyway, we went 5 minutes over. I know we got media day coming, so we can't hang out and chat with you all guys. I'm sorry. Alex Savas, before we sign off, you got anything to say? Anything to plug? No, she doesn't. AK Lee?
Watch Fast Furious? No, I don't know. Catch up. Oh, one question you didn't put up. If you're gonna start, people, if you're a fast newbie, a fasty newbie, or a furious newbie, whichever one you want to call it. A foobie? Thank you, Alex Savas. You always know what to say. I would highly recommend starting with Fast 5. That's actually the first one I watched. It's just a really good movie.
Yeah,
it's the best one.
That's
it's
the
best
one
in
I saw.
the series. Yeah, it's the best one in the series. it informs so much of what comes after. It's a little bit difficult to go back after because the first movie is so different from everything else. But you can do it. You can do it. And so I would say, for you new guys, Fast 5.
I absolutely love how into Fast and Furious AK is. I'm very into it.
It's very real. It is this generation's Star Wars trilogy. I don't know if people know this.
No.
It is.
I've never seen Star Wars either, but no.
I would if I had to choose to watch the 9 mainline Fast and Furious films or the 9 mainline Star Wars films, and I love the original trilogy of Star Wars, one of my favorite trilogies ever. But in total, all 9, I'll take the 9 Fast and Furious movies any effing day. Any day.
All right. Anyway, we'll end it on that. Fast 5, The Rock bought my ticket, so I love that movie. Other than that, I haven't seen any of them, so no judgment from me. Like, you guys can like what you guys like. Stick around on this YouTube page. Casey is live on the scene at UFC 265 Media Day in Houston, and then Alex and I will get clips out. AK will get his stories out. But until that starts in 24 minutes, go read MMA Fighting's global rankings. And you guys can stop arguing in our Instagram comments over why our rankings are different. My God, people, how many people I had to remind that these are not the UFC rankings. But anyway, for Jose, that's Alex and Alex. See you next week.